Brainy Dose presents People Are Completely Unhinged, and it's actually terrifying. Look around for a moment. Doesn't it feel like the world has come unglued? The old rules, the old sense of decency, the moral code we thought was intact, all of it feels broken. People are doing things, saying things, and celebrating things that not long ago would have been unthinkable. Of course, the internet plays a big part in this. It changed how we live, and it's actively rewiring what we think is normal or acceptable. And the result? A society that looks more unhinged by the day. Let's dissect how we got to this point, and why it's so deeply unsettling. Truth itself has fallen apart. There used to be a baseline of reality we could all agree on. We could debate politics, disagree about values, but at least we shared the same facts. You know, things that are verifiable and mind independent. Now, truth is treated like an accessory. You pick the version that suits you. People say things like my truth and your truth, as if reality itself were customizable. However, when objective truth gets downgraded to subjective interpretation, it leads us into dangerous territory. If reality is whatever I say it is, then anything can be justified. Lies are different perspectives. Exploitation is empowerment, and cruelty is fair game. Essentially, without shared reality, there's no shared morality. Outrage became the new justice. If truth isn't the foundation anymore, what fills the void? Outrage. We've created a culture where the loudest voices, the angriest groups, the viral pylons decide what's right and wrong. Evidence doesn't even matter anymore. And you can forget about due process. If enough people are mad, guilt is assumed. If enough people are offended, punishment is demanded. This would have once been called mob justice, but now it's treated like accountability. What's even scarier is that outrage is addictive. People actively hunt for the next villain. In fact, entire careers are built on fueling the outrage machine. Consequences no longer stick. One of the strangest things about this era is how inconsistent consequences have become. Some people get canceled for a bad joke. Others get away with violence, exploitation, or outright fraud, and often they get rewarded for it. When consequences are arbitrary, morality loses its deterrent effect. Why behave if the worst thing that can happen is more attention? Once people realize that bad behavior can pay off, the incentive to behave decently vanishes. In a similar vein, shame doesn't work like it did before. If you can recall, shame used to be society's brakes. You didn't want to disgrace your family, humiliate yourself, or get caught doing something indecent. You didn't want to be that person. That fear kept people in line, so to speak. But somewhere along the way, shame flipped. What was once taboo is now flaunted. Scandals used to end careers. Now they can launch and propel them. Degrading yourself on camera? That can make you rich. Posting your worst behavior? That might get you trending. Shamelessness is no longer something to hide. Rather, it's a survival strategy in a world where attention is the only currency that matters. The guardrails are gone, and when shame disappears, people are willing to do pretty much anything. Empathy has been replaced by spectatorship. This is one of the saddest and darkest shifts humanity has experienced. When someone gets hurt in public, people don't rush to assist. They rush to film. If a kid is being bullied in the hallway, instead of calling for help or trying to de-escalate, classmates pull out their phones, sometimes even join in, and turn cruelty into entertainment. On a larger scale, tragedies, disasters, even wars are live-streamed and turned into content. Do you see what's wrong here? We've normalized passive spectatorship. Human suffering is no longer something to respond to. It's merely content. And the more shocking it is, the more viral it goes. Authority disintegrated. Another reason people seem so unhinged right now is that we no longer trust anyone. Think about it. Entire institutions worldwide have lost credibility in recent years. Trusting governments is in freefall. Media outlets are seen as biased. Churches and religious figures are viewed with suspicion. Schools, doctors, even parents, all the old sources of authority that once gave us shared moral standards have cracked. Instead of wisdom, we get fragmentation. And what happens when trusted authority disappears? The ego fills the vacuum. People start making up their own rules as they go, or they just follow whoever shouts the loudest. Tribalism replaced principle. It used to be that moral codes applied universally. If something was wrong, it was wrong no matter who did it. Well, that's gone. Today, morality is tribal. If someone from your side does something bad, you excuse it. If someone from the other side does the exact same thing, you push for their downfall. Hypocrisy doesn't even feel like hypocrisy anymore. It feels like loyalty. This is how dehumanization starts. People stop being seen as human beings with flaws and start being seen as enemies to be destroyed. Anything from aggression to harassment, as long as it hurts the other tribe, it's justified. Identity became a product. Another crack in the moral code comes from the way we've turned the self into a commodity. People don't just show who they are. They brand it, package it, and sell it. Trauma becomes content. Mental illness becomes content. Even relationships, family moments, and grief get packaged into bite-sized clips for consumption. And the pressure to turn yourself into a product means exaggeration and fakery are baked in. Authenticity becomes a performance, a business. And when your very self is for sale, there's not much room left for dignity. Emotional meltdowns are normalized. It's shocking how little value people place on self-control. We used to view emotional regulation as a sign of maturity. Now, outbursts are normalized. People scream at baristas, throw tantrums in airports, and go off the rails in the middle of the intersection. You see it every day. The inability to regulate emotions has become a kind of cultural permission slip. If I feel it, I'm entitled to express it, no matter how destructive it is. Unfortunately, when self-control is no longer respected, when every emotional impulse is treated as valid simply because it's raw, the result is nothing short of mayhem. Emotional regulation is the foundation of empathy, civility, and restraint. Without it, all that's left are fractured relationships, public meltdowns, and the erosion of basic human decency. So, if you found yourself nodding along and thinking the world really has gone bonkers, you're not wrong. You're seeing what happens when morality deteriorates. The worst part? We're exposed to so much chaos, tragedy, and outrage every day that we've become numb to it all. Things that once would have horrified us now barely register. That's why desensitization is so dangerous. When everything shocking becomes normal, nothing is shocking anymore. And when nothing shocks us, nothing moves us to change. That's how societies decay. It doesn't happen with one big collapse. It's a slow moral exhaustion. And unless we find a way to rebuild it, this ride only gets darker from here. But that's just my take. So tell me, how do you see things? Where do you think we're heading? And what, if anything, can pull us back? Share your thoughts and comments below. Your opinion matters more than you think. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and share it with someone who'd get it, or maybe someone who just really needs to hear it. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.